Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well. In today's video, Chris will be cooking you his delicious prawn and turkey mince curry with rice and salad. And welcome back to my channel. I'm Kelly Thompson and I'm a food and childcare entrepreneur. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. In my videos you'll find lots of tips and topics on family and lifestyle and some really easy recipes for the whole family. So please like and subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you know when I upload next time. And if you already subscribed to my channel, thank you. So in today's video, we'll be showing you what a Saturday night in our house looks like in terms of cooking. So Chris will be your master chef today. He's in the driving seat and he will be cooking you a beautiful, really quick family meal, and it's a turkey, what are you cooking?
Turkey mince and prawn curry.
Turkey mince and prawn curry, and we'll be doing some rice with it and a quick salad as well. So without any further delay, let's see him in action.
I'm ready to get chopping.
So there he is, he's getting all the bits ready. He's chopped the mushrooms, some potatoes, lots of onions.
Just chopping some garlic.
Chopping some garlic there. And I'm going to get these ready for us to have a drink while we are cooking the food. Gets us in the mood. Right, so I'm just going to pour this for us. And what we're cooking tonight is a sort of like, I wouldn't say typical, but it's kind of one of the dishes that we cook on a Saturday night. Cheers! So Chris is the master chef tonight and I'm literally his assistant. So you're going to tell me what to do.
Well, you can cook everything then. Well,
what we're doing first?
Well, as usual, we're doing onions, mushrooms and garlic fried off in a bit of oil. Coconut oil first.
What were you asking, love?
Whether you thought that was too much. But
I'm meant to be the assistant. You're meant to be the chef.
That's how much I'd normally put in anyway. So let's just put it up one.
Okay, cool.
So all we're going to do then is just fry off the onions, mushrooms and the garlic until they're soft. And then we've got some nice turkey mince to put in there. Then we're going to add our spices. Which is going to turn it into a sort of a curried mince, and we'll add some potatoes and beans, and that's pretty much it. It's dead simple, but it's dead tasty.
It sounds delicious. It's a really quick family meal, isn't
it? If we're struggling for something to do on a weekend and we're looking in the freezer and pulling out meat that that we can make a dinner with, then a pack of turkey mince is easy to do a curry like this with, and it looks really nice at the end, tastes really nice. You can do it with some rice, some coleslaw, or some vegetables, which I think we're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got like one whole chopped onion there to go in.
Gosh, that's finely chopped. That's better than I would do it.
That's amazing.
Check you out, pro, eh?
There's about 3 or 4 little chestnut mushrooms there. I like to put mushrooms in stuff just because it helps to sort of bulk it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's probably 3 reasonably sized cloves of garlic there. That's quite a lot, but we like a lot of garlic, so don't worry about that. Obviously these are all proportions for your own tastes. So we need to make sure that's all covered in the oil, and it'll just sort of sweat down, I think they call it, don't they? The proper chefs, that's what they call it.
Oh really? I'll use that term in my other video then. Sweat down.
I think to sweat properly you need to put a lid on it, but it's alright, it'll just reduce a bit. Might need a little bit more oil. You could even add a little bit of butter in there if you wanted to.
I like to stay away from the dairy, as you know, so we won't put the butter. But if you guys want to put the butter in, that's absolutely fine.
No, I won't bother. You can see that these have sort of shrunk down a little bit now in size. The pieces, the chunks of the onion and mushroom were quite big to start off with. You can see it's a lot softer, just looks softer, feels softer. So I'll be ready now to put the turkey mince in.
Turkey mince is going in.
So
he's got his seasoning, all his spices here ready to go.
Yeah. It's thigh mince, which I just think is a little bit more. It's always a bit redder than the breast mince that you'll get, but it just has a little bit more taste to me. And the mince itself doesn't come as finely chopped, so
it's probably healthier as well.
What, in terms of
so you haven't got
turkey mince itself?
Yeah, it'll be healthier.
So I'm going to put.
So you haven't got all the skin and the bones. You know, some of them that's what they do. But this is all proper solid breast. So he's putting some salt in now, and I would say not a lot to start with, because you can add more at the end. And now he's just putting some pepper. And I would say the equivalent of half of a teaspoon of pepper.
Some mixed herbs.
Some mixed herbs.
Again,
so the mixed herbs, we get this from the Caribbean shop. Mixed herbs. If you don't have mixed herbs, if you've got parsley, dry basil, anything like that, dried thyme, you just put them in individually, because that's what this is made up of, really.
So I'm going to stick some all-purpose seasoning in as well. So
all-purpose seasoning, again from the Caribbean shop.
So this one's a little bit.
To be fair, you could probably get that from the main supermarkets as well. They'll probably do a different brand of all-purpose seasoning. What's the next one, love?
A little bit of seafood seasoning.
Some seafood seasoning, because we are going to add some prawns in towards the end.
Yeah, we didn't mention that at the beginning, did we? So this, what you've got to do now, or what I would do is, talking like I'm some kind of expert chef, but what I would do now is let this meat brown, and then think about putting the curry powder in. So I like to have it, because it is mince, and I for some reason I sort of like to have it quite finely chopped, so I'm constantly chopping it as it's cooking. So I'm going to leave this now, come back when it's browned off, and we'll put the curry powder on.
Cool, that looks good.
Okay.
Right, so what you're putting in now, love?
I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of curry powder, roughly.
Roughly, maybe.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe 3.
Yeah, there's quite a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah.
What that will do also is you'll see there's a bit of liquid that's come off the meat, so it'll start to soak that up a little bit. So I want this to fully coat all the turkey mince, and then we're just going to leave that to cook again for another 5 minutes or so, just to get nice and brown. As you can see, it's coating it nice and evenly.
But we do need to add the potatoes and the beans, don't we?
We do, but obviously we've got some hot water ready to go once this is sort of, the powder is sort of soaked into the meat, really.
So it's been about a couple of minutes, guys, so we're just going to add our final sort of ingredients. We've got some chopped potatoes, that's about 2 chopped potatoes, and we've got some butter beans.
They're going in as well.
So butter beans from the can, we've washed those a couple of times, and we're just mixing that all in.
You can see how it sort of bulks it out straight away, and the thing I like about using the potatoes for the curry is that when they cook, they start to sometimes dissolve a little bit, and it thickens the sauce, which is what you want. And plus they just taste nice as well.
Yeah, can you hear me talking here, guys? They thicken the sauce. Check him out, hey? So we're just going to add some water now.
That looks a bit weird to start off with, but it will be. Obviously this will all thicken up. You just need to get it. I like it so that the water's just covering everything. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does need it to cover it.
Maybe a tiny bit more.
Yeah. And you might possibly need to add a few spices again later on, but if we wait towards the end and taste it, and then we'll see whether it needs a bit more flavouring.
So I'm just.
But in the meantime,
I'm going to cover it.
That is looking good.
I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to stick a little bit of paper towel in the.
Or in that hole.
In the hole, just to seal it off, really.
We're going to have this turkey and prawn curry with some rice.
So I've just got like 2 cups of normal basmati rice, I think, 2.5 cups.
You've washed it?
Washed it, got all that starch off. So I've got salt, got pepper, and I'm going to start boiling it, and again, water.
Chris does cook his rice different to me.
Just maybe 1/2 centimetre above the level of the rice, and that's boiling water. I'm also going to add something else. So I'll add sort of a decent knob of butter as well, and let that sort of mix in together.
So he's not going to cover it yet, he's just going to stir it. So you cook your rice different to me. I tend to cook my rice and I drain it the majority of the time.
Yeah.
You tend to sort of add your salt, pepper, butter, and almost let it kind of boil then steam, don't you?
Kind of, yeah. I put some.
But it still comes out really nice and fluffy.
Yeah, because it's sort of.
That's a bit of mixed herbs that he's just put in there.
So the way I do it is I basically keep stirring and stirring until it's boiling to a point where it continues to boil even though you're stirring it, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. Right, so he's got that on 9 at the moment. That's the highest.
So as you can see, as I'm stirring it, as soon as I stop stirring it, it's bubbling straight away. So everything's mixed in, the salt, pepper and the butter. So I'm going to stick the lid on with the hole blocked up and turn that down to 6. And you'll see that the bubbling is a lot less, and it's basically going to cook inside the pot, steaming itself because everything's blocked off. Eventually all the water will disappear and you're just going to be left with the rice.
So there's the rice, halfway through. It's doing well too. It's bubbling, looking good.
Yeah, I've just got to wait for the rice to be, once it's been cooking about 10 minutes, I would just fluff the top of the rice, the top layer, just turn over the grains so that everything gets cooked evenly. Just check what the water level's like in it, and then we're going to add the prawns at the end. So remember when I was talking earlier about just turning the top layer of rice over, you can see a lot of the water's disappeared in there, but the top layer, if you don't fork it, turn it over, it won't get cooked properly, won't steam properly. So just turn it over, mix it in a bit, lid back on, another 5 minutes, it'll be done. So you can see in here now the water's disappeared, we're just left with the rice. I'm just going to have a little try of it to see if it's soft enough.
Nice and fluffy.
So look. Yeah, it might need a little bit more, but...
A little bit more what?
What you could do...
Water?
Yeah, tiny... So maybe I didn't put enough water in to start off with, but you're better off being able to add later on rather than...
Right, okay, add the water.
So I'm going to put a tiny bit more in.
Yeah, we'll just swap the fork.
Yes, obviously. And just let it steam for a little bit longer, a couple more minutes.
Our curried mince has been cooking now for about 20 minutes, half an hour.
Half an hour.
So we've tasted it and it just needs a bit more flavouring, doesn't it, love?
Yeah.
So we'll add a few more things. So some salt, a little bit more salt.
Yeah, didn't get enough salt in to start off with.
Yeah. And we'll put a bit more, we'll put some chicken seasoning as well. Because we don't have turkey seasoning, but we'll put some chicken seasoning. And a bit more all-purpose. And Yeah. If we had Maggi cubes, that would have been perfect in it. But I don't like to cook with Maggi cubes very often because it's got what's that thing called? It's got MSG in it. So while it does make your food taste really delicious, I try to avoid it as much as possible because of the MSG.
Okay, so just to finish it off, we're just going to add a few things to enhance the flavour a bit. So I've got some spring onion, some peppers and some thyme, fresh thyme, straight in.
Thank you, Chef.
Got some chives.
Yeah.
Enough. Celery salt.
Celery salt. And with all of these, I would say about a teaspoon, a small teaspoon is enough.
And something that I hate, which is coriander, but I know that by putting it in here, I will actually taste it.
With the ground coriander, you don't really get that taste.
No.
But I think with the leafy one, both yourself and Kelsey, you can't stand it.
No,
can you?
I can't stand it. It tastes like a bottle of perfume.
Yeah. But I love it. I love fresh or dried coriander.
And I think, love, we're going to need a little bit more water.
Some water, yeah. And then we'll sort of leave it to cook for another sort of 10 minutes and then we should be done.
Okay. Just to get that sort of consistency right.
Yeah. That looks good. We'll be back in 10.
Yeah, the rice is done now. So after adding that little bit more extra water, you can see it's nice and soft. Everything's mixed in. The water itself has completely disappeared. So lid on, off the heat, that's done. Right, finally, before it's finished, we're just going to add some prawns. You don't have to do this, but it just sort of bulks it out a little bit. And as we know with Olivia, we have to add prawns to everything because she loves them. But it does make it just a little bit extra special, and you have to add them right at the end, just as the curry's about to finish, because the prawns literally take 2 to 3 minutes to cook, and you don't want to overdo them, otherwise they get tough. But that's looking really good now. Yeah,
well done, love. That looks really delicious. Can't wait to get into that. Nice.
Okay, so I think this is finished. It's been cooking for about 45 minutes. Everything's ready. We're going to dish up.
He's dishing up my portion. A bit more, love. That's enough. That's it, that's good. This is what we're having for dinner tonight. Our prawn and turkey mince curry. And some salad that I did off camera. And Chris's beautiful fluffy rice. How does that taste, guys?
Nice. I'll eat this.
How's Chris's cooking, Kelsey? Is it good?
Yeah, it's nice. I like the. You haven't made this before.
Really?
I think so.
I like the mince curry. The curried mince.
Very nice. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoy watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on my other socials. And please check out my other videos on food, family and lifestyle. Thank you for watching. See you next time.